Welcome to the Black and Green podcast. It's your go-to place to find the latest high-quality, all-natural products created by Black artisans. Hosted by yours truly, Dr. Kristian H., the founder of Black and Green. We'll discuss all things health, wellness, self-care, and of course, self-love. This podcast features a refreshing lineup of guests, from entrepreneurs and artisans to holistic lifestylists and clean beauty experts, and a plethora of other innovators within the wellness industry. Join me as we learn from the best of the best. The best of the best. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Black and Green podcast. We're going to start not talking about your business yet, but I want you to tell me, how are you showing up in the world these days?
One of the ways that I am showing up in the world is really by being my authentic self. And I know that could be very broad, but I think I'm really going through this transition as being a Black woman of the age of 41. And I think when I hit 40, I wouldn't call it a midlife crisis. I would more so say that I'm going through an awakening. And I'm really learning to just tap back into the things that, number one, that I loved as a child. So just really trying to get just back to myself. So I feel like I am showing up as my authentic self in all areas. How I communicate with people, how I work, my interests, and then just, the love that I show to the ones around me.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I've heard when you're trying to awaken or get back in touch with who you are, go back to your inner child and do the things your inner child likes to do. So what are some of the things your inner child likes to do? What kind of play are you doing?
So I have always been a lover of music. Mm-hmm. So I always tell people, I don't like music. I love music. It runs through my veins. My mother was a singer in her younger days, and she has a lot of very well-known people who she's connected with. And I think just with her gift, I kind of passed down to my siblings and myself. So I've always loved music. So even with this year, one thing that I've never really strayed away from concerts, but that was one of my main themes for 2025. I've been able to see some really good artists that I absolutely adore this year. One of the things that I have been contemplating going into 2026 is, when I was younger, I played a lot of instruments. I will spare you from naming them all. But one of the ones that I was really passionate about was the clarinet. So one of the things that I want to do in this upcoming year is just really tap back into that. I also think I want to, I tried my hand at playing the guitar maybe a couple years prior to the pandemic. So I think I would also like to, venture back in that direction. I feel like I kind of lost my voice just as years have went on. So I think I may need a little bit of training with that to kind of hopefully get me back to where I was in my younger days. But that's one area that I really want to tap back into, because I love music. That is my life.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. And I love the idea of play. They're as we become adults, we stop playing. You could get two kids by themselves and they gonna play, okay?
Yes.
And I just think it's so important as an adult for us to tap back into that play, tap back into that spirit, tap back into that freedom you get when you're playing. And it's beautiful that you have an instrument to play. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna get to my play stage, because I took the saxophone in high school. And I don't think you'd want to hear me doing it, but it's beautiful to have a way to reconnect with play so easily. Reconnect with play. So it's also something you said is kind of in your 40s. You feel like you're in this new stage of kind of finding yourself did you have to wait until you were 40? Kind of what happened to get you back there?
So the best way that I can explain it, and I was having this conversation with someone, I think even online, I don't know if the light clicked on or if it clicked off, right? So I don't know what that energy was when I hit 40. And it could be because, I am a firm believer. I just think the creator and my ancestors will grant me at least life until 80. So I look at it as I'm at my midpoint, right? Mm-hmm. So from a baby to 40, I kind of felt like I have, not saying that I've neglected myself in totality, but I think there are so many areas where I did neglect myself. And then there's nothing wrong with giving, but I feel like I gave too much to where I put things that I loved on either on a back burner, or I allowed just life, maybe even people, to deter me from the things that I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So how I look at it as, okay, that was my first half. Now I have a second half. So in the second half, do I want to devote this to other people, or do I want to just get back to myself? So I'm choosing myself in the second half.
Yes. And what I hear is you're taking your power back.
Yes, I am.
Because you gave your power to someone else.
Yes.
Do you know why you gave them your power?
I just think out of the love sometimes for people. And I don't know if I really want to, dive too deep into it, but I just think even sometimes like with family or, even with friends, like, there could be something that you have a desire to pursue, and there's doubt that's put there. Now, I will say you can't always, as being an adult, you can't, blame others for. But I think our environment does have an influence on which way that we go or decisions that we make. I'm sorry. So I just think that that's what took place. And I've always said, like, up until this point, like, oh, I don't have any regrets in life. But as I really get to sit with myself, meditate, tap into Amiya, it's like, hold on, I might have some regrets. So at this point, I want to try and fulfill everything that I'm supposed to do here in this realm. Mm-hmm. And when it's time for me to transition, I can say, job well done.
What I will say is that everything you experience in life, you experience it for a reason. Mm-hmm. Everything that you think you might regret now was trying to teach you something. Mm-hmm. So figure out what was a lesson from that thing so I can apply it in my second half. Because I want to make sure I learned everything in my first half, so I can learn those lessons again.
Right.
And a big piece of that is being true to what you want without the influence of others and not stopping you down your path. And I'm so happy to hear you talk about meditation, because that has been a powerful tool for me to tap into listening to myself. Mm-hmm. And I know what I need. I know what I need to do, even when others may be pushing me in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And so meditation gives you that power. It's like, but I know. But I know. Yep. So tell me about what got you to start your business. What was the problem you were trying to fix that you needed to create something to fix it?
So one of the things that, or I should say, the primary thing that I wanted to tackle was I dealt with eczema for a majority of my life. I would have it like on my scalp. I would get these really bad, like, if you want to call it like a breakout, like on my face, and just kind of going back and forth to the doctor, not really getting any resolution with, pharmaceutical drugs that they would provide me. One in particular is the cortisone cream. And then just after just doing my research and also with speaking to my physician, just learning, with long-term use of cortisone creams, it really thins out the skin. So I said, well, hey, if I'm using this, I'm taking the risk of that potentially happen. And then I'm also not getting any results because I continuously keep having this issue. So I do want to say, like, my family, which, a lot of our people are from the Deep South, but in particular, both of my grandmothers, so my maternal grandmother and my paternal grandmother are also, well, not also, but they are from Louisiana. So, just having that Deep South connection and, having elders in the family that worked with, herbals that were in their vicinity to be able to heal different ailments. So I just really kind of tapped into that and really got into doing my research on how can I rectify this issue, because what I'm being provided is not helping. And so I can definitely happily say that I got that. I usually have people tell me, and not to be, whatever, but, oh, you have really pretty skin. Well, it took a long time to get here because I had, I really had a lot of like just inflammation, and I mean, to the point where like I would have blotches just on my face. So that's really the main reason why I started.
I love that. Basically, you were like, I have this problem. I'm going to doctors. They can't solve it for me. I have the power to solve it. What's your background?
Yes.
Is your background in chemistry or making products? Did you have some kind of push to push you there? It's like, I know the ancestors are going to give me the tools I need to get what I need to get my.
Well, as far as when it pertains to academics, I don't have any background in that. I mean, of course, like that was probably one of my favorite subjects within, school, but just more so just from my lineage, just from my ancestors and what they tapped into. So sometimes I know, just even in life, even with like technology or anything that's like modern, that's okay. And then there's also I'm not saying that there can't be any type of adverse reactions from whether you're using like a specific herb, depending on the person, or if you're using essential oils. But I don't think the risk is as high as when you're using pharmaceuticals or you're using different chemicals. So I said, okay, well, that's not working. So let's try something different and a healthier alternative.
Yes. I think you just tapped into something important. I want to make sure we bring attention to it. No, from an academic standpoint, I don't have a background in that, but I have ancestral knowledge. And we oftentimes don't talk about ancestral knowledge. I have ancestral knowledge, and when I got into my room, my kitchen, and start creating, I knew what to grab. I knew what to get. I knew what to mix together. We oftentimes don't give ourselves. We don't give ourselves enough. We forget that at the end of the day, everything you need, you pretty much got it. You just have to learn how to listen to yourself. That when your body always talks to you and tells you what it is. So you listened to yourself. You listened, and that's beautiful. Were you taught how to listen to yourself, or how did you learn to listen to yourself? Because I feel like listening to ourselves is often a challenge.
I would have to say, just even as a child, I kind of always had like a very strong intuition. So I think I have always kind of had that. I mean, not saying that I didn't have, times where, of course, we all have times where we don't listen to ourselves, but I think I have always kind of had that, which I would tell people, being 41 years old, I can say that I thank the Most High that I haven't been through some things, unfortunately, that other people have, just by listening to myself, just by observing. Sometimes, like, one thing that I learned, even as a child, with certain things, like, I would learn from other people's mistakes. Like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go that route. So, yeah, I would say that I'm just tapping into myself and then listening to myself.
Yes. Oh, that is so powerful. And I think it's not something we talk about enough. It's just you know. Your body knows. And the thing about it is what works for me and what works for you is oftentimes different. But my body will tell me what I need, and your body will tell you what you need. But we just have to learn to listen to it. So I love that how you always had a natural intuition where everyone does. You have to just learn to listen to it. Your intuition is always talking to you. Just don't ignore it. Just listen. Just listen. I think that maybe what built that muscle is those times when you didn't listen. You're like, I knew I should have done that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with that point, just even like in, later years, like, something to transpire. And it's like, but I knew, like, Maya, you knew that. Like, so you are absolutely correct. Just, you're, like they say, the gut never lies. And I am a firm believer of that. So now just with the wisdom that I have, where I'm at in this space, I have to listen. I have to.
And thinking about listening, we're going to pause for our meditation, and then we will come back. Now we will pause for a moment of meditation with Dr. Crystal Jones.
Wherever you are right now, just take a moment to experience your awareness. Notice what you see, notice what you hear, notice what you feel. What do you taste? Notice your being for what it is right now. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let it all the way out. And as you're exhaling, think about that oxygen moving to your heart. Get rid of those toxins that happen from residual volume when we don't completely breathe in and out. As you breathe in and you exhale fully, you're letting go of what's no longer serving you, so that the oxygen that comes to your heart allows you to give and receive love with boundaries, but no longer the walls that the toxicity creates. Continue in this breath. Continue in this being. And as you're in this being, start to become the love that you seek in this world. Start to become the forgiveness that you seek in this world. Become the acceptance that you seek in this world. And watch the universe mirror that back to you. I just wanted you to know that I am here always, for you, with you. Listen closely. The truth is within my voice. Come back to me as often as you like. I'll be here. Sincerely, your breath.
Something that popped up for me is letting go. What do you feel like you need to let go of?
Letting go of people pleasing is one of the main things that, during this whole midlife awakening, I've learned that has probably been a hindrance within my life. So not saying that, you can't be there for people, but making sure that I'm not doing things that's going against my spirit in order to please someone else, and then ultimately disappointing myself. So I would say people pleasing, and just to intertwine with that kind of comes back to putting myself first.
And it's interesting how people pleasing is often rooted in you dropping your needs down. Because it says, I want and need this, but these people, family, friends, want this. And so I'm going to give them that thing and let go of the thing that I want. Because I think I have this false belief that there's some value in me doing that. And I think that's probably the first step of recognizing, making a choice for someone else, putting yourself second. Why? What do you believe that's making us make that choice?
Sometimes I believe that it can be upbringing. And I don't know if you kind of, mind me going into this, but I just recently even had a conversation with one of my colleagues. And I find, and I don't want to say just Black women, right? Because I think it's probably all women. But as me being a Black American, I see that within our community. We kind of give so much and, in a sense, kind of taught to put other people before us. So what do? We wear ourselves out. It even makes me think of, a relative who, transitioned at 59, which, ultimately I feel like that's still pretty young. But then how much are you neglecting yourself to be able to be here for this person, that person, and just really just running yourself down to the ground? So I feel like a lot of it is rooted into upbringing and what's expected. But like I've come to the conclusion that I'm changing that narrative.
Changing it.
I'm changing that narrative.
Changing it now. And just like, I was talking with a colleague, a friend of mine. She said she was taught that saying no was a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
That she was not allowed to say no to her parents. She was allowed to say no to anyone. That anything that was asked of her, she had to always do. And it hurt my heart to hear her say that. I said, so you are taught to never think about what you need and put yourself first. And it's like, how many other Black women were taught to never say no? Now you're saying yes to things you need to say no to, but you weren't taught to say no. That hits me. That a lot of us were raised where no wasn't an option, and as we get older, we have to learn no, and now you have to take back something that was presented as something negative. And you have to reframe it in your brain like, no is not negative. Actually, saying no is powerful, because what that does, it allows me, when I know I cannot show up 100%, when I know I can't do it, when I know I don't have the capacity, I say no. And I give you the space to go find someone else who can show up at 100%, who does have the capacity, instead of me waddling through trying to make it happen when I can't.
Absolutely.
Saying no is so powerful. Saying no is so powerful, so powerful. And putting yourself, it's not even putting yourself first. It's just knowing what you need. How have you figured out what you need and what you want? When you're taught not to say no, that's how you were conditioned. Now, how do you do it?
I think that's just, even going back to what I stated earlier, that's just really tapping into yourself. And then you really have to, what I've learned that has helped me is just really sitting with myself. Because sometimes people don't want to just sit with themselves, but actually sitting with yourself and saying, okay, this is what I need physically, emotionally, even, financially. This is what I need. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing, is really sitting with yourself. And I think, sometimes people do have an issue with just being with themselves. But I've learned, I don't have a problem with it. I'm an ambivert, so I can be, social, but I don't mind those times just with myself. And being with myself is honestly how I learn myself. And with learning myself, I learned what I needed.
Yep.
Ultimately.
Yep. You have to learn what you like, learn what you dislike, learn what makes you happy when you're feeling down. Nobody can tell you any of those things. You have to know. And the thing about it is, the only way you're going to learn is by experimenting. Yes. Hey, my friend says that taking walks work for her when she's trying to calm down. Let me go give that a try. You go walk, nope, that ain't work for me. because you got to go try something different. So you have to give yourself to learn about yourself. And I am encouraged that younger folks will have these podcasts listened to, and they would have you to kind of guide them, to help them learn from them, learn themselves, and learn what they like, learn what they need, learn how to take care of themselves. Because at the end of the day, can't nobody else really teach you how to do it.
Absolutely.
Can't nobody else really teach you how to do it but yourself. And the beauty and doing things wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that there's not mistakes. There's just lessons. So when you make a decision, the outcome of that decision was to teach you something. And I often say, it's up to you to receive it, because you will keep getting taught that God will teach you the same lesson over and over and over again until you hear it. And it will get more and more painful if needed to make you listen. Yep. If you need pain to listen, all right, let's go. That's the way. When I told you the gentle way, when I told you the nice way, when I suggested it, that didn't hit. So I'm going to give it to you the way you need to receive it. So that's why I always encourage you, please listen to what your body is telling you, because that's God operating you, telling you what you need.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So what's your big vision for your brand and how it grows on your awakening process of you becoming who you are? Kind of what do you want your brand to do?
I ultimately want my brand, of course, to be expanded to a larger audience. But my number one goal has always been to just help people, right? Just with so many things, I just think in today's society that we have, just with, things that we should not either be consuming, like through food or, actually what we're putting on our skin. It's kind of like we have so many things that's like going against us as human beings to affect our health. Yep. So I feel like this is, just even with my brand, with being able to offer natural, skincare products, herbal teas, is a way that I can give back to say, hey, and even with myself, I may have an issue with eating, but maybe in this area I can work on just being a little bit healthier about what type of body products I use, what I put on my face, what I put on my body. Even like I said, going back to like the herbal teas, drinking teas that, of course, they taste wonderful, but then they also have medicinal benefits. That's my ultimate goal, is to try and contribute to just a healthier living for not only myself, but for others.
I love it. And it's the beauty of Black and Green is that your spirit of trying to help others is rooted all in your products. It's rooted all in your teas. My sons are fighting over your teas. They're trying to all of it's gone. But that love and that intentionality is in the product. And when you use it, when you drink it, it's transferred. I think that's what makes Black and Green special, is that the Black women behind the products that you are purchasing care. And it's not about making money. It's about helping you. Then it's that I had this problem and I want to help you with the same problem too. And so that energy is what's in the product on Black and Green. Thank you so much for being a part of Black and Green. Thank you so much for your teas.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for even considering my products. I am so grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I love your shirt. Oh my God.
Thank you.
I said it once, I gotta say it again. That shirt is amazing. Well, is there anything else you want to say before we close it up?
I just would like to say, just to anyone who may listen, just in this life that we live, just always emit love to others. always be your authentic self and always stand in your truth.
I love that. Always stand in your truth, which means saying no sometimes.
Yep.
Being your authentic self means saying no sometimes, and doing what you want when it might not be what those around you want.
Absolutely.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the Black and Green podcast. Did you have more questions for our special guest? Please leave your questions in the comment section. Also, check us out at blkgrn.com. Please subscribe and comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, buy black and live green.